In search of treasure, some people spend a lot of time studying archives, buying expensive equipment, and organizing expeditions to the ends of the world or to the depths of the ocean. Often, the realization of a long-awaited dream takes a full lifetime, but the dream remains unattainable. Treasures are hard to find, but sometimes unique finds are discovered unexpectedly. Today, we will tell you the stories of people who are far from what you would call treasure hunters, but who have become rich by chance, and those who have devoted many years to the search for treasure. 1917 whiskey goes for $2,600,000, what you will not find in a dusty attic, a closet littered with trash, or in an old basement. So Brian Fitt bought an old house in St. Joseph, Missouri. He discovered an unusual find. The house was built in the 1850s and required major repairs. Fitt could not afford such a serious investment and decided to carry out part of the work on his own. It was time to have a central air conditioning system put in, and Brian examined the attic. Under one of the creaking floorboards, he discovered a cache of 13 bottles of whiskey. True, the bottles were not ordinary and very expensive. The whiskeys of 1912 and 1913 were packed in 1917. As you know, after the abolition of the Prohibition Act adopted in 1920, most manufacturers did not resume their work. Therefore, the bottles were not only old, but also rare. The entire collection was valued at $2,600,000, but Brian is not going to enrich himself by selling whiskey, but by ingestion in the sincere company of his best friends. 1974 aluminum scent. They say that accidents do not happen by chance. It is no coincidence that not one soda machine accepted a coin from the Robert Lawrence collection. This collection was inherited by his father, Deputy Superintendent of the United States Mint in Denver. After moving to San Diego, Robert needed funds to settle in a new city, and he decided to take the collection to an expert to evaluate its value. The specialist did not examine the coins very carefully and valued the entire collection at only $300. Lawrence was very upset, and rightfully so, because they told him the wrong amount for which they were counting. But Lawrence was not worried and asked the expert to examine each coin more carefully. Imagine the specialist's surprise when he looked through all the coins again and found the real jewel. True, it was made of aluminum, but it cost a ton of money. In total, only 10 such coins were issued by the mint. 9 of them were destroyed, and the latter was considered lost. It was the rarity of the aluminum cent that helped Robert sell it for $2 million. Opal, the royal one. Australian miner Bobby, on the last working day before retiring, decided to bring along a bucket of stones from the mine, hoping to find at least something of value. And the pension was a success. Surprisingly, of course, the miner discovered it in 1999, but the miner didn't show it to a jeweler until 14 years later. Having examined the stones brought home, Bobby immediately noticed a glimpse in one of them and began cleaning and polishing it. The Australian was very afraid that someone would find out about it and try to steal it, and in fact, he definitely should be afraid. The opal of 306 carats was sold in 2003 for a record $3 million. The amazingly beautiful stone was given the name the Royal One, and it really looks like a royal. This is a stunningly beautiful stone with a rich blue color, which is enhanced by a natural wavy shape with flashes of green that shimmer over its surface. This color is so bright that the opal almost glows in the dark. British treasure. Lisa Grace and Adam Staples for a long time combed the country of Somerset with a metal detector, but the lucky ones did not expect to find a treasure of this value. Experts believe that this particular find will be the most valuable in the history of Great Britain. The pair discovered 2,571 silver coins from the reign of William the Conqueror. The most expensive coin is valued at £1,000, and the total value is estimated at $6,200,000 US. The treasure was found in early 2019 and was in one of the museums in London for expert evaluation. According to scientists, such an estate in those days could have been owned by a monarch or a very wealthy man. So far, the fate of this find has not yet been determined, but in any case, the lucky ones will be enriched. Either the museum will pay them an estimated value, or the coins will be returned for a sale at auction. Black Star of Queensland. In 1938, 12-year-old Roy Spencer found a dark gray stone and brought it to his dad. Harry Spencer worked as a miner, knew a little bit about stones, and identified the find as a black crystal. For 9 years, the stone served as a doorstop for the door in the house until jewelers came to visit the Spencers. At this time, they traveled around the world in search of rare stones. They noticed a pile of stones dumped in a corner. The eye of the jeweler recognized sapphires in them. The dad of the family showed him his doorstop. Imagine his surprise when he learned that he has a unique sapphire weighing 1,156 carats with a copper luster inherent in asterism. This is when, thanks to impurities, they overflow in the form of a star on the stone. The jewelers bought the stone for $18,000. Nowadays, this is the equivalent to $196,000. For several months, jewelers worked on the stone, and several times, it was on the verge of completely destroying the unique asterism. As a result, the sapphire of 733 carats saw the world and was named the Black Star of Queensland. Later, a halo of 35 diamonds was added to the world's largest jewelry-grade sapphire. Now this masterpiece is in a private collection and is estimated at about $88 million. The Lost Fabergé Egg. One U.S. buyer, wandering around the markets in search of damaged jewelry, would restore them and resold them. In one of the next trips to the flea market, the American came across an interesting little thing, an egg with a Vatran Constantine watch. The man decided that on the find he could earn from $500 to $1,000 and bought it for $14,000. But there were no people who wanted to buy the egg. The desperate businessman typed into the search engine, "egg and watch Vatran Constantine." The search returned an article by Fabergé experts, and the American went to Britain. Studies have shown that in the hands of the American is the original Fabergé egg. A golden egg with a clock was ordered by Alexander III in 1887 for an Easter gift to the Empress. The last record on the sale of the eggs was found in an old Action catalog with a comment March 7, 1964, $2,450 sold without history. An expert from Britain bought the egg for $33 million for a private collector. SS Central America. Engineer Tommy Thompson developed systems for nuclear submarines, and in his spare time was fond of finding wrecks. The cherished dream of the engineer was the ship Central America. Thompson, as a student, set himself a goal to find the legendary ship that was sank in 1857. In the fall of 1988, Tommy's dream came true. The search robot raised a large bar of gold from the bottom, after which the area was completely examined. Tommy picked up antique coins and a ship's bell. The total value of the find is an estimated $150 million, and the gold bar weighing 80 pounds, $8 million. The find of Tommy Thompson is considered the largest in total in the history of America. One fisherman off the coast of the island Palawan in the Philippines was caught by bad weather, and on that day, a poor catch would have awaited him if the anchor had not caught on something heavy. The fisherman ducked to the bottom of the cordon of the obstacle. A huge cell of mollusk turned out to be a hindrance. The Filipino brought it home and kept it alive under the bed. The unique item spent a decade under the head of its owner until a fire broke out in the house. The fisherman did not want to throw out his find and took it to a travel agency so that tourists could admire the huge shell. Imagine his surprise when he found out that he owned the largest pearl in the world. The pearl weighed 75 pounds and was valued at $100 million. Australian Nugget. In 2013, in southern Australia, one treasure hunter was lucky enough to find a huge nugget weighing 12 pounds. The gold was literally laying a few inches from the surface of the earth and was found by using a metal detector. This unusual find was estimated at $220 million, but due to the size of the nugget, the lucky man managed to gain $350 million for it. Surprisingly, in the same area a year before this event, another lucky man managed to find a good catch also on a metal detector, a nugget weighing 9 pounds. Of course, after such news, a crowd of gold prospectors rushed there. Have you ever found anything of value? Write about it in the comments. And of course, don't forget to put like if you like this video. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more.